specific things you want to do to keep a mistake from turning into maybe a disaster. All right, we're going to talk about that. Plus, affordable renovation projects for your home that you might want to consider this winter, especially in light of this economic climate that we're in. And, well, if we have time permitting, maybe a little comeback. We're going to bring back an old favorite. It's the Home Pros Radio Show Trivia Challenge. Stick around for that. It all starts in 1 minute on the Home Pros Radio Show.
The Home Pros Radio Show. Brought to you by Prime Lending. Home loans made simple. Welcome to the Home Pros Radio Show, the premier resource for the well-informed homeowner. With over 30 years of combined home inspection and renovation experience, your hosts, Tommy Donovan and Shane Hips, help you stay on top of your home improvement and home maintenance needs. Visit homeprosradio.com to access the trusted product and service providers that are a part of our Home Pros network. Find the Home Pros Radio Show on Facebook and Twitter for regular show updates and additional information on the topics covered on our show. To join the conversation, call 248-HOME-PROS. And now, your Home Pros, Tommy Donovan and Shane Hips.
And welcome to the Home Pros Radio Show. I'm Tommy Donovan with RIC Home Inspections.
And I'm Shane Hips with Closing Contractor.
And we're broadcasting from our studios here, the Home Pros Radio Show studios. We're glad you're with us. We're well into the holiday season. This is probably, this time of year, it's the slowest year, I guess, for both of us, isn't it?
Yes.
With the real estate, people kind of tend to hunker down, settle in.
Yeah, and it's an election year.
Yeah.
You have all those factors coming in. Sometimes this time of year gets crazy for me, though. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanting to finish things up before the end of the year. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes they'll wait till December, then all of a sudden, hey, we got to get this done, you know. And then, so, I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, it depends. He said it. Yeah, he sure did. Oh, yeah, I was going to scream for it.
They don't like it
now.
But,
that was loud.
But yeah, it's pretty. It's definitely slowed down on the real estate side this year. So
yeah, so we're actually going to be talking a little bit about the market and what it's doing. It's kind of changed the way homeowners or at least folks in general are approaching their living spaces. Instead of maybe looking for a new home, they're renovating the homes that they've got.
Right.
But then, of course, with inflation the way it is, it's kind of adjusting people's decisions on what to do around their homes. We're going to be covering that later in the show. But first, let's visit our photo from the field this week.
The photo from the field.
What are you looking at? I know what I'm doing.
Did you see that?
All right, my first question for Shane this week is, what's a Knox box?
I didn't know I was going to throw you off with the Knox box thing. A Knox box is on commercial buildings. It's the box. If you look outside of any door on a commercial building, there's a box there, and what it is, inside the box, it's got the key to the building in it.
Oh, okay.
And it's for the first responders.
I see.
Because they have a master key that opens all the Knox boxes. That way they can open it up and get in case there's an emergency, a fire inside or whatever.
That's a very good point.
And it's called a Knox box. I'm assuming it's named after someone whose last name is Knox. That's what I'm guessing, but I've just always heard it called a Knox box. So that's
or it's
why.
a way to get into Fort Knox.
It could
Something
be,
like that.
whatever it may be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what a Knox box. It's that box on the outside of commercial buildings for 911 people.
I could see the logic behind that. You see, but basically, for those of you who can't see the actual photo from the field, it's a picture of it's a box on the outside of a house. You can see it embedded in the brick. Looks like it has a keyhole. It is a keyhole.
Uh-huh.
And then you open it up to access something inside. Definitely looks like a Knox box, like you would describe it. But this is a little bit different.
What's that, phone wires?
Yeah, so you open up the box, and there are just these plastic tubes coming out.
Okay.
And I've always wondered what they are. Generally, you will see a box like this located on a slab home.
Okay.
And I never knew what it was until I was actually performing a pre-drywall home inspection.
Okay.
And there was a pest company going around the entire house installing this thin little tubing. And I'm like, what are you doing? It was like he was an electrician
Yeah.
running things through. He was actually using a lot of
I
the
got
holes
you.
that were. So I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "This is a pest control system that we install on slab homes."
So they inject the poison in those tubes?
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Neat.
pretty nifty.
Uh-huh.
So what it is what you're seeing actually is the access box for these tubes. In this particular house, there are 3 of them. And I actually took a picture because it was the first one I've ever actually been able to open. I think the box might have been broken, and that's why I was able to open it up
Right.
because it wasn't locking. But they keep it locked just so the pest guy could get to it. And the interesting thing was this particular pest inspector, he was running this tubing, which has perforations in it,
Uh-huh.
all throughout the bottom plates of all the walls around the perimeter of the house and in certain places up through the middle of the homes.
Huh.
And so he was basically saying, like, if you see termites or if the home needs to be treated, rather than having to worry about going around and drilling through the slab, you could actually use this tubing to deliver the insecticide throughout the foundation of the home without having to, it'd be interesting to know what the front end cost of installation of that is. And so there are certain specific companies that specialize in the installation of these systems.
I got you.
Pest control companies that are out there that do this. So how effective is it? I think it's kind of a new, I guess, technology.
Right.
If the word, for lack of a better word to refer to it as.
Yeah. I always have reservations on things anyway, but I mean, if it works and you can get the insecticide all the way through there and all, I'd say it's fabulous. It'd be a fabulous thing.
I guess the downsides would be,
How do you know?
yeah,
How do you know it got
that
to the
it's been
other
delivered?
end of the?
yeah.
And I'm sure they probably have some kind of way, but I mean that'd be my main thing. That's my biggest question. How do you know where all it got, and how you know you don't have clogged holes and this kind of
Or
stuff?
damaged
Damaged
lines.
right? Yeah, how you know they're not crimped somewhere?
Yeah,
I just don't. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
but it's absolutely a
theory
neat
makes
way
perfect
to do
sense.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
It does. So that's what that system is for, and we could probably do a little bit of research into that, how long it's been around. But that's what it's for. If you see one of those on the outside of your house, folks, that's the purpose of. It's not a Knox box.
It's not a Knox
But,
box. That isn't to let
yeah.
people in your house.
It's for the pest guy.
Gotcha.
So that's our photo from the field.
The
this
photo
week.
from the field.
What are you looking at? I know what I'm doing.
Did you see that?
All right. So another thing that I figured would be good to talk about this time of year is it's getting colder, and we're heating our homes.
Uh huh.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about fire safety
Yes.
and making sure your home is safe. Now that we're using space heaters and things like that, and one of the things that we like to talk about on the show on a regular basis this time of year is gas safety. We haven't covered this particular angle of gas service in a home. What to do if your home has a gas leak?
Right.
Because we know that I would say most folks are familiar with that smell
Mm-hmm.
that you get when you have a gas leak. It's that
Do you-
odor.
Do you remember what that stuff's called?
I knew you were going to.
It's a long word. I can't remember it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll have the answer after the next break.
Yeah.
How about that? We'll look it up. We'll Google
We'll
it.
remember it while we're on break.
But that smell everyone knows and is familiar with. But what do you do when you detect that smell? A lot of times people do the wrong things.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to talk you through doing the right thing when it comes to handling a gas leak. Well, the first thing you want to do, or I guess goes with typical instinct, is to go around and check all the appliances in your home, the obvious areas where you might be leaking.
Yeah.
A lot
Put
of
your
times
nose
it
in it.
might be the knobs on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody left a burner on.
Yeah.
That's not ignited.
Ignite. It hadn't ignite yet.
Check out your water heater. Make sure that you don't have a leak around there if you can access it. Of course, your furnace, and probably more often than not, gas logs.
Yeah, gas logs.
Maybe the knob's turned on your gas log unit and it's just not lit.
Mm-hmm.
So check those locations. Make sure those are off. that's probably about the point when you want to stop looking. If you haven't found an issue in those particular items, stop looking around. Because
Yeah.
the next thing you could do if you do have a gas leak that might be catastrophic, you don't want to go around turning
Messing
on
with
lights,
stuff, turn it. You don't want things that might cause
turn
a
on
spark.
pilot lights.
Let's just leave it be.
Yeah, just get out of the house, and maybe on your way out, ventilate the home. Maybe open some windows and doors. So yeah, that's number one is to check the obvious locations. Next thing, don't go looking around. Third thing, don't get ventilate your
house.
home. Open windows and doors, preferably on your way out of the house.
Yeah.
Because what you want to do what you're doing basically is you're diffusing the presence of the gas. The more you can diffuse it, the less likely it'll be.
It's going to
likely
explode.
to ignite. Correct. And the other thing is, don't get in the car and drive away.
Okay.
Because if you do have a gas leak, say in your garage, and you fire up the car,
You might have just ignited your house.
correct.
Got you.
So that's another thing you want to avoid from doing. Once you're a good distance away, that's when you want to use your phone. All right, so get away from the house. Around 350 feet is the going rate around there now.
Okay.
And then and another thing that could be an indication, even if you don't smell gas, I found this interesting in my research, is that if you notice a part of your lawn, you got browning shrubs or browning grass, like it goes in a line.
Yeah.
There's a good chance you might have a gas leak. Be aware of where your utilities come into your house.
Yeah.
Know where your gas line comes into your home. And that could be if it's near your meter or
Well,
if it's on the way in.
I mean, that's definitely a good tip there. You know, if you have browning shrubs, because I had no idea that
I didn't know
gas
either.
leaks cause browning shrubs.
They kill your shrubs. So
That's cool.
some ways that you could tell that you've got gas leaks and what to do. Go through that checklist. Don't turn into Sherlock Holmes. If you suspect a gas leak, the best thing to do would be just get out of the house. Let the pros come in and handle it. Call the emergency number 911.
Yeah.
Get them out. Get the fire department out there they're trained for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there
Don't
you go.
go lighting anything.
Yeah.
Don't say, "Oh, I'm stressed. I gotta have a cigarette."
Oh, yeah, that's right. Anybody got a
avoid-
candle?
Let's avoid all that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about ways that you can actually improve your home in the current economic climate that we're in. And we're going to talk a little bit about how it's changing the way we live in our homes and update them and all that good stuff. That plus more on the Home Pros Radio Show. If you're a home service provider who takes pride in your work and strives to be recognized as a trustworthy professional in your industry, the Home Pros Radio Show wants to hear from you.
Become a Home Pros Radio Show partner. Send us an email at ask@homeprosradio.com.
Your Home Pros Radio Show Expo listing and your featured appearances on our podcast are just the beginning when it comes to the ways that we can help brand your business on the Home Pros Radio Show.
It's a great opportunity. It's just an email away. Ask@homeprosradio.com.
And welcome back to the Home Pros Radio Show. I'm Tommy Donovan with RIC Home Inspections, and I find stuff.
And I'm Shane Hips with Closing Contractor, and I fix stuff.
Speaking of the last segment, one of the things. Oh, you know what we didn't do over the thing? We didn't find.
Oh,
the
we
name of the
forgot to
gas.
look. Okay.
Gosh, dog.
It smells like rotten eggs, though. Whatever.
I'll tell
it
you
is.
one of the things that I don't find, and many home inspectors don't find.
What's that?
It's gas leaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless we have the right equipment,
Right.
but gas leaks can. Here we go.
Literally, what's the right equipment? And why would you be bringing that
A
along
sniffer?
with you?
A sniffer, yeah.
No, but they normally bring out the soap bottle. sprayer, don't
Yeah,
they?
you could do that. You could do that. Well, it's,
Well, that's to pinpoint
Where it is.
when you know there's a leak.
The sniffer will sniff out the smell of the gas.
Uh-huh. So, yeah. But yeah, you don't see those written up very. I've probably seen it written up maybe twice in however many years. So, I mean, it's not very often that we see it.
hydrogen sulfide.
Oh, I thought it's a long word. No, maybe I'm looking for the thing, with the mold or whatever that grows on your houses, the algae, the soldier.
Oh, you're thinking of Gleocapsamagma.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
You know what's funny about that? Sidebar. That's the bacteria that grows on your roof that gives it that dirty look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it does this. That's why I'm doing this. with my hands. Gleocapsamagma, and there was a home inspection report that I just recently saw from somebody else where it was mentioned. Gleocapsamagma on the. I'm like, why even do that? Why even put that on there? Are you trying to show that you're a good speller? No one knows what that is.
Even if it was spelled wrong, nobody knows.
I know. Just call it fungus. Gee whiz.
Okay, so it's hydrogen sulfide.
Hydrogen sulfide. It was easier
Yeah,
than we
that
thought.
was absolutely anticlimactic to
I
what
know.
I was going for.
So everyone was hanging on throughout the commercial break to find out. Well, we got your answer. That's it. No, it's not. It's hydrogen sulfide. All right. Oh goodness. So that we got that answer. You know what? We're gonna do a special extra long version of the Home Pros Radio Show News Desk this week. And the reason why I'm doing this is because our first story that I have for our news update this week, it's actually a couple of stories that I seem to be fumbling around and can't find, are related to the market, the real estate market, and then I found some information in regard to that's related. I can't. It's killing me. I have too many cards here. I feel like I'm playing poker or something. Here it is. I found it. It's right here.
Got it.
All right, here's the story. Couple stories related to the real estate market. This is the thing. I've been doing a lot of, because things are a little slow, I've been going around a lot of real estate offices and just knocking on doors, going, anybody got any work for me?
Kicking some bushes.
Y'all doing
kicking some
anything?
bushes. Yep.
And I've been noticing more and more, there are more and more offices that are having real estate meetings
Yeah.
because the realtors don't have anything to do.
Right.
Let's have meetings. So it's a good opportunity to go in there and meet realtors.
Yeah.
So anyway, did you know that 43% of homeowners have delayed home improvements and maintenance due to inflation?
Okay.
So inflation has been affecting the way people are handling their. But it can be dangerous, though.
Yes.
Is we don't want to delay things that are important just because we're pinching pennies.
Right.
There's certain home improvements that we want to make sure we take care of.
Yeah.
Inflationary pressures have caused some homeowners to delay big projects. Residential housing construction costs overall up 19% from last year, according to the National Association of Home Builders. So
I can see that.
you know, it's pretty much affecting everything. I just read last week that even the price of things like candy, the price for candy is up 18% from last year this time. Same is true for brandy and cocoa and Destiny. Oh, shoot, wrong button. It's funnier if I guess you have the stripper reference behind me on the TV. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, the seriousness of all this. The cost of financing renovations or improvements is also getting more expensive, with interest rates on consumer loans expected to continue to go upward. Homeowners spend an average about $4,000 on repairs last year. Have you been seeing anything? Because you're not only dealing with home purchasers, you're dealing with homeowners.
Right.
Has it changed? Have you seen a change in what people choose to do with their homes?
Yeah. The answer is yes.
Less big budget.
Well,
types of deals?
it's the more needed things.
Okay.
That like the floor's falling in.
Yeah.
It has to be repaired.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're getting laughter from the peanut gallery about what the heck. All right.
No, it's. I mean, so yeah. If once it gets to the budget stuff, a lot of times it is because there's the floor. I mean, big problem.
Yes.
It's not just I want to update this on the house.
Okay.
It's like I need to do this, but sometimes they turn into bigger jobs.
I gotcha.
It might start off real simple, replacing some floor or some damaged subfloor. They feel a soft spot. Then you get in there, next thing you know, seals rotted out and joists are rotted out, and I'm seeing more of that.
Well, the interesting thing about it is what they're urging folks to do in this particular article is avoid putting off routine maintenance. Sometimes you might think, I don't need to do this now.
Right.
And then
Because
it ends up being something
it
major.
creates a much larger problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one reason not to avoid the routine stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be a lot more. You might be pinching the pennies now, but you could be spending the dollars later.
Yeah. So how do you kind of I don't know if I can't say a lot of homeowners know how to discern
Yeah, and
those types of things.
prioritize.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one of those things. A lot of times, like I come into play in those a lot of times. It's like, okay, we've got this, and this. Which one should be more important?
Yeah.
And because I can look at it and say, okay, well, this one's going to turn into this if you don't do it. This one right here, nothing's going to change. This one's going to do this.
That's the importance of working with a contractor that you can trust.
Right.
Because I've seen people be led down wormholes they didn't need to be chasing.
Right. Yeah, the big things that need to be done. I mean, we always talk about chip and paint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people don't think much of chip and paint. Chip and paint is a big thing. It's relatively inexpensive in the beginning, but once those things start rotting out, if you have a like especially say the frame of a window starts rotting out, then now the whole window has to be replaced because the glass is moving around in the frame. That becomes a much larger issue.
Or the gutter's not draining right.
Right.
Well, shoot, if you don't fix it now, down the road, you might end up with rotten fascias, soffits, and more.
Yes, yeah, those kinds of a lot of the things having to do with water.
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't go ahead and address it, it's just going to make the problem much worse in the long run.
What we'll do next week on the show is we'll feature kind of a good checklist of those types of things.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of folks don't know. I mean, a lot of folks tend to focus more on the cosmetic stuff, the things that make my home look pretty. Or
Yeah.
The things that, but sometimes the ugly stuff gets forgotten because it's not fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
So, but yeah, we'll get to that. Here's another story that I saw. It was interesting. Home Depot and Lowe's are benefiting the most from the current economic climate. Yeah, because more people are just choosing to do renovations as opposed to moving.
Right.
Not only that, but they're choosing stuff that they can do themselves
Right.
because it tends to be less expensive if you can do it yourself. So there are more of Home Depot and Lowe's. Both companies are likely to report rising sales in the third quarter this year as Americans spend on home improvements that they can do themselves.
Right. Well, those two companies have been doing really well. I mean, first you had COVID.
Well, that's the other thing they were mentioning here.
Because I know
everyone was staying at home.
I don't remember who I was having the conversation with, but I had a conversation with someone a short time ago about how much it affected my business.
Mm-hmm.
COVID, how bad were we affected? And our business slowed down some, but I mean, we were still moving along the whole time. But one of our biggest problems was getting material because if we get a lot of our stuff at Home Depot and Lowe's because we don't know until we get to the job and see exactly what parts we need. We don't know, so we'll run to the closest place, which is generally one of those. And there were so many people not working from home and all and finding all these other things on their home. The lines at Home Depot and Lowe's.
Oh, you were noticing them?
Oh, they were
getting longer and longer?
Oh, it was
Wow.
it was crazy long. I mean, what would normally take the guys, say, 30 minutes to go get, it might take 2 hours.
Wow.
I mean, standing in line, with all the people that are home working from home, but working on their house.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've been cashing in on a
more
lot
than
of this
one way.
stuff going on.
Well, we've got a list here of some of the things that you can do if you're looking to maybe do some home improvements that you can afford.
There you go.
And these are some of the more popular ones that are recommended, as I saw online. This is actually an article from Jennifer Taylor. I want to give her credit. This is from GoBankingRates.com. As I was searching, this was an interesting article that came up. 6 affordable winter home renovation products or projects that you can do around your house. So a couple of them. What's the first one? Wallpaper and accent wall.
Wallpaper and accent wall.
If
Hey.
you want to change the way a room feels,
Yep.
it's surprising what you could see, what an accent wall can do. Whether you're wallpaper or painted, either way,
Right.
that can really change things. And she actually provided costs, so you're looking at maybe $90 to $125, depending on the wallpaper you get, and whether you hire a person.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, paint your kitchen cabinets. That one comes up on every list. I feel like every time we do one of these lists.
Yeah.
Easy ways to change the look of your kitchen or that sort of thing. It's amazing what changing the color of your kitchen cabinets can do. Now, it does take a certain amount of expertise, I would say, to do it right.
Uh-huh.
So
I'd say go with that accent wall.
Yeah. You're looking $20 to $60 per gallon of paint. Approximately $150 on supplies, according to Angie. Now, if you're gonna actually hire someone, which I would recommend for cabinets, you're looking at about $850, give or take, of course. Next thing, install a backsplash. This is another item that comes up on common kitchen renovations. Average cost $655. Certainly a project I would say you could do on your own.
You can, depending on what product you use.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
And that's the good thing is, I mean, there's some really simple products out there if you want to use certain products that aren't necessarily tiles and stuff. Like that you can basically
ceramic
stick to
tiles. You're looking at about $6 to $26 a square foot. Huge range there. Quartz, even more expensive.
Yeah. But I mean, you want to get real trendy and all. I've seen people use metal roofing and stuff like, just all kind of.
It's cool to see people get creative with that kind of thing.
You can come up with stuff that's a lot easier to put. I mean, now your receptacle plates aren't going to fit quite right.
And you know what? Be a little creative and use a material like that, and maybe even use something that you could change.
Right.
So I love seeing those types of ideas. Now, if you're looking to pinch some pennies or maybe do an improvement that might help with utility bills, here's some ideas. Add an electric fireplace.
Okay.
Electric fireplace, which is not as complicated as putting in a gas fireplace.
Correct.
You're not having to deal with gas supply, flues, and all that stuff. Average cost, $425 to $1,700, according to Home Advisor.
Yeah.
You expect to spend $200 to $1,500 for the fireplace and a couple hundred more for installation.
Right.
So, and that's something that can be easily done without a whole lot of tear out. Replace old carpet is another thing. If you want to, warm up a house or warm up a room, of course, depending on the type of carpet you get,
yeah,
anywhere from $1 to $3 a square foot for polyester, nylon $2 to $5 per square foot, cotton carpeting $6 to $7 per square foot, according to Home Advisor. And the last thing that I have on here is install a smart thermostat. Now, I bought one of these and installed it, and they're pretty cool.
Okay.
The thing that I found interesting here is they're emphasizing get a professional to install it. I didn't find it that difficult to install, but
right,
because you're saying around $100 to $500, $100 to $500 depending on the thermostat. I think mine was closer to $500, and then it says plus $200 for the installation. I'll install it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to know what you're doing, though.
As long as you know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you touch two
cross
of the
your
wrong wires, now you got a bigger problem. You got a fuse that's blowing in the unit underneath the house, and then it just turns into – that's one of those things where if everything goes great, hey, it goes great. But if one thing goes wrong, you could create more problems that have to be –
yeah.
I'm sure that's probably why they're saying that, because they don't want everybody just going out there. I mean, you got to
There
make
is a
sure
little
all
more
the
to
wires
it.
are –
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, don't let any of the wires touch each other.
Take a picture once you have the cover off where everything's going. Match up all the colors.
Yeah.
It's almost like diffusing a bomb sometimes, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
So those are some of the things you can do to, do some winter home improvements for your home. When we come back, we're going to continue with the Home Pros Radio Show news desk with a couple of interesting houses that have entered the market. One with a racetrack.
Oh.
Pretty slick. And maybe a little trivia challenge before we
There we go.
kick off or finish off this episode of the Home Pros Radio Show. We'll be back right after this. Thanks for watching the Home Pros Radio Show. You know, Shane and I would love to know what you think of the show, so we'd like to invite you to leave us a review.
At the Home Pros Radio Show, it's our goal to keep homeowners entertained, inspired, and informed. So let us know how we're doing.
Your review helps us ensure that we're including the content you want to hear and that we're reaching out to more homeowners just like you.
So click on that review button and tell us what you think.
Your relationship with your home is an emotional one. Your home provides a sense of pride for you and your family. Through ongoing training, past experience, and current technology, RIC Home Inspections can provide you with the most reliable and accurate information available so you can enjoy the rewards of your home ownership. Call RIC Home Inspections at 235-5505 or visit us online at richomeinspections.com. That's 235-5505. RIC Home Inspections. Love where you live.
The Home Pros Radio Show is brought to you in part by Screen Mobile of the Piedmont. Established in 1982, Screen Mobile National has been around that long, and they're the nation's largest screen installation and repair company. They offer many different options for windows, screens, whether it's a corporate location or even a home residential location. They can bring their mobile units out to you and repair your screens, replace them, or even create a whole outdoor environment that you can use to keep the bugs out with their screens.
I've always been impressed with the tent one, the one
Yeah.
that keeps your siding from melting or your neighbor's siding from melting.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's saying tint with an I. They help cool things down. Yeah, for those of you who are not in the
Not from
South.
South Carolina.
Exactly. And that'll protect, some of your outdoor building products like your siding from melting. That's a good point. I never
It's
even
not
thought
always a
about that.
grill. It can be a window.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So give Screen Mobile a call. There's a Screen Mobile in your area. You can visit them online at screenmobile.com. If you're in the upstate of South Carolina, call Screen Mobile of the Piedmont, 864-641-7476. And we're back on the Home Pros Radio Show. I'm Tommy Donovan with RIC Home Inspections.
And I'm Shane Hips with Closing Contractor.
And we're continuing with our Home Pros Radio Show news desk. You hear that?
Yeah.
They're still typing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we have. A couple of houses that I felt like would be really interesting to share this week. I always like to do that. Share some interesting real estate that's out there. Last week we were talking about the Christmas Story house.
Right.
It's on the market. This time we're going to Massachusetts where there's a home that predates the American Revolution. It's up for sale. This is an old home.
Yes.
It's on the National Register of Historic Places. 284 years old, built in 1738 by Robert Jennison. He was a leading housewright in the region at the time. He built his own home. That's back in the day when we built our own homes.
That house looks really good for the age and all.
Sure does.
It really does.
You know?
It's been well maintained or redone or something.
I think one of the
obviously.
things that really that I think is funny for those of you who are watching the feed, the photo of one of the things that would drive people bats this time of year, or these days is look at the windows. There's no symmetry.
Oh,
In other words, the windows were put in based on where the rooms were. There was no
yeah, they didn't look at the outside.
there. It's not like they hired an architect. They're like,
Yeah, they didn't
drafted.
have the what's it, the elevation.
This house was all about function.
Yes.
So you got I've got a couple of windows on this side and then one over there, and it's just interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, this is built in a day where we built our own homes. We don't see a whole lot. I was in a house the other day, and they had a pre-inspection done.
Uh-huh.
So there's another home inspector that had inspected for the seller, and I was going in there to inspect for the buyer. And while I was there, they had an electrician come in
Okay.
to repair the items that were on the list of the previous home inspection.
Okay.
So I was like, so what are you here to check out? And they were like, we're here to check the light fixture in the bathroom. It wasn't working. To be devil's advocate, this couple had a the light. It was a light fixture. One of the fixtures was a light fixture over their shower,
Right.
and they had no idea.
They didn't know how to take
how
the
to
cover
get
off.
to the. So there's like a set screw you had to pull off and all that stuff. But I still I'd save myself a couple $100 to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. It's
So
it
here
happens.
she goes again.
No, see, my thing is, it's like you say, to save yourself a couple $100, but sometimes I think it's knowledge you should know.
It's stuff you should know anyway. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's kind of like reading. You
Well,
learn how to read. You know, if you're going to own a house, you should learn how to do certain things.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times though, it's the seller that's paying for it, so the buyers want it done, and a lot of times the sellers may not live there anymore. They may have already moved to another house or
Well,
whatever, so they
yeah.
don't really have anyone there to
Sellers
do it.
were home.
I would say,
Well, I mean, I'm just
No, I
I'm
know,
playing
yeah.
devil's advocate
Okay,
here,
okay.
you know.
well, we met a real estate agent who literally, while we were inspecting, he was going around to every light bulb and changing it. He was, he did that just to
Just
be nice,
right.
You know, as part of his service, which
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's
cool.
great.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
The simplicity of just changing a light bulb,
Right.
and that was just part of his service that he added to for his clients.
Right.
I just thought it was neat.
Yeah. So how do we even get on this sidebar? We were talking about homeowners. This home is historic Massachusetts house, which people are wondering. Wow, I mean, can't wait for you to tell me how much it is and all. We don't want to leave you hanging. But this house was built in a time when you built your own home, 1738.
Yeah.
So $1.25 million for this 3,200 square foot. That's a big house.
That is a
for
big house.
1700s. 3,000. Well, I'm sure it's been added onto over the years.
Yeah.
4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, and a bonus room. I'm just kidding.
I bet
Has
they
a
they
pickleball
changed.
court.
I bet they changed all their lights out, the fans, ceiling fans too.
Yeah.
Imagine all the lights they had in 1738.
Oh, yeah. So it was nominated for the National Register of Historic Places back in 1978. Sits on 1.72 acres, originally on a 200-acre tract purchased from the Indians. Where'd you get your house from? We bought it from the Indians.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Very,
It is.
Very cool. Now, let's go to this other house. This one's going to be fun, especially for car enthusiasts out there. This house is in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
Okay.
where, if you watched the show last week, in Arkansas, they like rolls for their Thanksgiving sides.
It's white gravy.
No, it was white gravy.
because you had to make a comment on it.
Because I had to say smart ass. Smart Alec.
Having to do with race. Racetrack.
Oh yes, we're getting racial again. In Fayetteville, Arkansas, this house comes with a 1.2-mile custom-built asphalt track. Pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
You're into cars. And here's what even makes it cooler. So it's on 393 acres. The house alone is 7,000 square feet. Look at the patio over there to the left of it. It's 4,000 square foot of outdoor patio space, probably to park your cars on. 1.6 miles of frontage to the White River. Again, here we go. It was built in 2016. And now the house comes with 30,000 square feet of just shop space. Do you see all the garages down there?
Yeah.
So built-in garage space shop where you can work on cars. One building dedicated to paint and vehicle storage alone. The largest is 80 feet by 175 feet. Absolutely massive space with room to store and work on dozens of vehicles. The building is wired to handle welders in multiple locations. Compressed air outlets all over as well. See, I'd like to know who owned this.
That's what I'm wondering. Who?
Were they a race car driver? There's actually an
it's a
overhead satellite shot of the property where you can see the property and then see the racetrack is just the lower right-hand corner
Right.
of all of that property. Can you imagine how much fun you can have expanding that track?
Yeah.
So the house, how much is it going for?
I'm gonna throw one on it.
What?
And this thing's got to be outrageous.
Yeah, it is.
It's got to be outrageous. I'm gonna go $25 million.
Not that high. Not that high, but it is a multi-million-dollar house.
10.
Lower.
Oh God. I mean that's because it's 396 acres.
Yeah.
Alone. I mean, obviously this is probably I have a hard time saying that word. Rural.
Yeah.
Arkansas. But okay, let's go $7 million.
6.7 million.
Okay. Yeah, I was definitely a little high. They'd probably been very happy with my bid if I came in there.
Yeah, I know, right? They really would be.
They'd be like, hey, we just cashed in on this fool.
That's right. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty impressive. So,
Yeah.
There you go. That wraps up our news update. All right. Now, before we go to what we learned, we got a couple minutes left. I figured it would be fun to bring back an old favorite. We haven't done this in a while. You know what it is? It's our Home Pros Radio Show Trivia
The Home
Challenge.
Pros Radio
Okay,
Show
I'm ready.
Trivia Challenge.
Well, one of the reasons why I came up with the idea to do this is just going through some of our old scripts,
Okay.
and I found one of our old trivia challenges for the World Cup, and of course the World Cup's going on right now
Okay.
in Qatar.
Okay. I've been there.
Yeah, you have?
Uh-huh.
What's it like, Sandy?
Uh-huh. I have been there. I don't remember a whole. It was when I was in the Navy. I mean, honestly, I don't remember because we went to Qatar, we went to Dubai, and we went to Muscat, Oman. Those are the three places I remember stopping in the Middle East. So I can't really remember specifically what, but all of them were sandy. And when I was in the Navy before, Dubai had all these islands and stuff that looked like the globe and all. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I have been to Qatar.
That's cool.
But I didn't play soccer there.
No? Yeah. Well, there are a lot of people playing soccer there now.
I bet.
And I figured, well, what does this have to do with home improvement? Well, there are certain terms. You every 4 years when soccer comes back, there are certain things, words, phrases that are used that not only are referencing soccer, but also can reference home improvement in homes. So, Ginger, I'm going to include you on this one. If you can come up with any answers to any of these questions I got, right? We're going to see if you can let us know. We've done this trivia before on the show, but it was years ago.
I probably won't remember.
We only
any
do
of
the
it.
World Cup every 4 years, so let's see. How about this one? We use these important supports to finish out the framing of our doors and windows, and corner kick soccer players frequently use these to finish off a scoring chance. What could that be? Oh, is that? Hold on. Are you hitting? Did you turn my music down?
No.
There we go.
If she hits the
Are you
microphone, that's her bell,
Are you
I
hitting
guess.
the button? You
Yeah.
just killed our ears by hitting the microphone. All right. Do you know what it is?
It's a header.
It's a header. Very good.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Very nice. Okay, enough of the trivia music. All right, let's see if I can find another one. In the World Cup, teams compete in an effort to break away from their groups and advance to this prestigious round. We're wrapping it up right now, pretty much as we speak. An electrician will remove one of these round things from a panel in order to connect their wires to the circuit breakers. What is this?
Knockout.
It is a knockout. And, of course, the World Cup knockout round. Very good. All right. What else do we have time for? How about in soccer, a player who doesn't measure his shot perfectly will hit this. But a skilled carpenter will only use perfect measurements when installing this in your home. What is it? Let me read it again.
Yeah.
In soccer, a player who doesn't measure his shot perfectly will hit this, when a skilled carpenter will only use perfect measurements when installing this in your home. What are they installing? A penalty shot doesn't go in the goal; it hits the
Crossbar, but
and it's also known as the woodwork.
yeah.
Even though the goals are made of metal, we still call it the woodwork.
Huh. I'd have never guessed that because I'd have never thought of wood being on a soccer field.
All right, how about this one? Ready? I think this one, we got maybe one or two more. Ready? Here we go. This term is used in home construction to describe the angle of your roof surface. In fact, the steeper the better for drainage performance, but in soccer, this surface is as flat as can be for the sake of the player's performance. What is it?
The pitch.
The pitch! Survey says. Very good. All right. We got a soccer. Can you tell we have a soccer fan in the studio?
I like soccer.
She does like soccer. All right, last question, and then we'll wrap it up for this week. This term is used to describe a loose ball that players on either team have a chance of winning. When it comes to home improvement, this describes the chances that your project will be completed on time. What is it? The chance is a what chance? Or the ball's in the air after a punt, for example. Two players go up for it from the opposite teams. It's a
Toss up.
It's a what ball? The chance that your project will finish on time
Just don't leave your feet.
is 50-50.
50-50.
50-50. I bet Ray would have gotten that one.
Yeah.
That was a
Fred
reference
Ray
from last week. Fred Ray.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That's
that's
Rich.
it. All right, thank you for
The Home
partaking
Pros Radio Show
in your trivia challenge. Good job, Ginger. You win a Home Pros Radio Show coffee mug. All right, that's also going to wrap it up for this week. All right, let's find out what we learned on the Home Pros Radio Show today.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
What did we learn? I got my list here. We learned what a 50-50 ball was.
Yes, we did.
We also learned that woodwork is a soccer reference.
Apparently,
even though there's no wood
part of
on
the goal.
soccer field. Yeah. We learned that you can have a house with your own racetrack for $6.7 million. How about we buy a couple of them?
Yes, absolutely.
It's on the White River, which is also where white gravy comes from.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's why in Arkansas they like white gravy,
Uh-huh.
and they like racing.
Tracks.
Yeah. I love you in Arkansas. All right, what else? Some home improvements you can do for the winter to help improve your house that are just not pricey. They're not going to break your bank. How about new carpeting or an electric fireplace? That sounds funny. Electric fire. It's like electric lawnmower.
Right.
It just sounds funny.
Yeah.
But hey, it works. I'm seeing more and more of them. I will say the real long, skinny ones.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Paint your cabinets, install a backsplash, some things you do in the kitchen, some indoor projects that could help spruce things up around the house. I learned what a Knox box is because I didn't know what a Knox box was. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to bet it has something to do with Fort Knox.
It could.
I'll look it up. I'm going to
Yeah.
write that down as a note to make sure we mention next week.
Where the Knox box got its name.
Knox box. And then finally, when addressing a gas leak in your home, check the most obvious first, but don't go looking too much.
Don't go
You
try to
could
light them
ignite
to figure it
something,
out.
and that's not good. Just ventilate the home, open windows and doors, get out of the house, and then leave it to the professionals. All right? Thank you all for watching. Make sure you reach out to us if you have a question, comment, or concern about the Home Pros Radio Show. Shoot us an email, ask@homeprosradio.com is where you can find us. What else? Follow us on social media, ask@homepros.radio. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all those good things. I guess we're done for the day. We're going to have to end the show. I know a lot about houses, but I don't know a lot about cars. I got to go change a tire. It ain't going to be a whole lot of fun after this. So,
It sounds fun.
no, it's not.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure I'll have a story about how it went next week. Thank y'all for watching this week. We'll look forward to seeing you next week on the Home Pros Radio Show.
Thank you for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show. If you have a question for the Home Pros, visit us online at homeprosradio.com, where you can also catch our podcast episodes and learn more about the topics and guests we bring to you each week. The Home Pros Radio Show is made possible by Prime Lending, RIC Home Inspections, Closing Contractor, Radon Recon, and Carolina Heating Service. If you are a trusted service provider in our area and would like to contribute to the show, send us a message through our Contact Us page at homeprosradio.com. Once again, thanks for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show.